Hey everyone, so I wanted to share a couple things with you today. First off, I usually do all my videos on the acoustic here because usually my rig, my electric and everything's at the church that I play at. So I recently just upgraded. I was using my box amp down here, being mic'd on stage, and I just switched over to the Strymon Iridium pedal, which is kind of like an amp modeling pedal, so you can run straight out of that into your system and you don't have to mic an amp. I just wanted to get rid of the stage noise and carrying that thing around and just make it simpler. So I have my pedal case, boom, and that's it. And I really like the Iridium; it's really good. So I have the amp here, so I can actually use this now to do my videos. So that's cool. So I use the Gretsch Electromatic. I got this, I don't know, 2 years ago or so. Semi hollow body, Bigsby tremolo bar here. I really love this guitar. It's very versatile in everything that it does. I mean, from rocky leads to just ambient swell stuff. I love this thing. It's a really good guitar. It's the favorite guitar that I've ever had. So there's that. And then so in this video, just some commonalities, some things that you can do almost in any song, modern praise and worship. There's a lot of commonalities that you'll find, that you can do these things and throw them into almost any song that you do. That'll just kind of help your playing kind of get to the next level. And I'm not a great guitar player at all by any means, but these are just some simple things that I found that you can do to just kind of take it up a little bit to the next level for your guitar playing. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing I want to show you guys that's just super, super easy. A lot of times you do this with you use your delay pedal on a dotted eighth. Dotted eighth is really, really popular and common in praise and worship music. It's kind of that U2 sound. But I just call it the D5. So this is all, again, all for if you're playing stuff in the key of G relative, you're playing G shapes, G, C, E minor, D, that kind of stuff. It's relative to a capo. So if you're open, it'd be D5. So D5 is a G. So first thing I would recommend learning where all the G notes are on your guitar. So E3 is a G, right? D5 is a G. You got the open G or 12 on the G string. What else we got? B8, E3, E15. A10. So memorize where all the G notes are, because you're going to be playing in that key of G, relative to a capo, playing G notes in the key of G there, the GA or GC, those different notes. So if say you're capoed 3, which would bring you up to the key of, if you're open G, so you'd be A flat, A, B flat. 4 would be B, 5 is C, 7 is D. It's a half step per fret. So you'd be in B flat on 3. So it's the same thing. You just D5, you're just up 5 frets from the capo on the D string. So you're not technically playing a G anymore, but you'll still be on the root note of the key of G for that song. So a lot of songs you'll hear this in the verses. They'll just be doing a G note. I just do it on the D5. If you do it on a higher one, but they're just kind of doing a palm muted. It's just that kind of thing, and a lot of them you'll have some reverb and delay and whatnot. I'm just running straight into my amp, and I have a little bit of reverb and not a lot of gain on it, but that's kind of all it is you're just palm muting, you're holding down the D5, your palm muting with this part of your hand on the strings, right? And you can let it through a little bit more. In a lot of songs, so in the verses, that's pretty much all you're doing, is you're just hanging out on that root note for the song, on that G, for those verses to kind of bring it down some. Everybody else will still be hitting their normal chords or whatnot. So that's the first thing, super easy. And you can do that on any, you know, for open again, you could do that on any, you could do it on the E3, you know, anywhere you got your root note, you can do that. So that's the first thing. Next thing, which again is also pretty simple, and it depends if in your church you have one electric guitar player or if you have two. It should change the way you play. If you're the only electric guitar player, you don't want to be doing, you know, single note stuff during choruses most of the time, right? You want to be filling that. You want to be filling the chorus up, and you know, you want to make it full by doing full chords. Verses, you know, it's still okay to do that if you got lead stuff, whatever it is, or that D5 thing to bring it back down. But if it's just you, mainly if it's just me on a chorus, I'm usually always just you know, doing chords to just give it the fuller sound. But if you have two electric guitars, we do most of the time at our church, we have two electrics, we have the rhythm, and then I play lead. Is try and separate your tones so the guitars don't blend together and you can't tell the difference. So a lot of time what I'll do is if they're playing, you know, they're just hammering out the choruses or whatever, I'll try and do something higher up on the neck. So there's two places you can do this that are pretty simple. So this next thing I'll show you is the D shape on the 7th fret. So everybody knows a D, you know, down here. So all you're going to do is take that D shape and move it up to your 7th fret, and you're just going to play those 4 strings. So that is basically a G. So here's a G, and here's that D shape on the 7th. So you're playing just a variant of a G. So a lot of times, you know, you can be hammering out, because if you're up here and they're down lower, you're going to distinguish between the two guitars better. So there's your D, which is your D shape, which is playing a G. A C, you can either use your pinky down here on the 8th fret on the E string. That would be for C, or I just drop my ring finger down to hit that. So G, C, okay, and then E minor. A couple ways you can just bring your pinky up to the 9th on the G string, or you can change positions if you want and go pointer, middle, and ring that way. That would be your E minor. Sometimes it's easier just to use your pinky, that way you're not moving your hands around too much. So you got your G, your C, your E minor, and then a D. You're gonna bar the 7th fret, those 3 strings, and your pinky, a little bit of a stretch, is gonna be on the B and the E string up on the 10th fret. So that's your D. Okay, so G, just your normal D shape, your G. Get that bottom E string in there for your C. Your E minor, you're adding the 9th fret on the G string. And then your D, you're barring the 7th and adding the B in the E string on the 10th fret. So you know, you can be rocking out these higher tones. While somebody else is down here in the lower, you know. Just a nice way to distinguish between the two guitars, have one playing something lower and one higher. So that's the second part, is that D shape on the 7th fret to get you those, still your G and C, E minor, D, that kind of stuff. And then the third place, or the third thing, is up here on the 12th fret. I do this a lot. A lot of leads in the key of G are done up here by the 12th fret. So 12G is a G, right? Every 12 steps, you're back at your same note again. So that's your G. 12G is a G. So if you bar 12G and 12B, that's a G and a B, which are in a G chord. You have a, let's see, you in a G chord, you have a D, a G, and a B. So you got your G and your B there, which would be your G. You come down on the B string on the 13th fret, so you're playing a G and a C. That's your C. So you got G and C, and then for your D, you do your pinky on the 15th fret, which is a D, right here. So you got G, oops, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. So that's your scale, right? G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. That's the G scale, right? So G, your C, your D, and for an E minor, you would just play your G and your B. Because in an E minor is also a G and a B. So you can just stay on the G and the B for E minors. If you have, let's say you have an A minor, right? You're going to play your C in an A, right? So you can keep your finger here. It's not going to do anything, but you would play that C and A, because in an A minor, you have an A and a C. So G, B, D, also E minor, the G and the B. And then if you have an A minor, you're playing the C and an A. So you'll find as you learn more and more leads for the most popular praise and worship songs, they're all right in this area, right? A lot of them. If you're playing it in G, open, a lot of them are all right in there in that area. It's just working around those, G, A, B, C, D, F sharp, E, F sharp, G. Just that scale. So another easy thing you do. So if you're rocking out, whatever. Really simple, really easy that you can do to just add, especially if you got another guitar playing lower. Just really fills that space, the highs and the lows. You would just do that instead of playing your normal chords. Just get some different tonality in there. Really simple stuff that can make just the sound of the song you're doing just have a much better feel to it, and just sound fuller. So simple things. You got your D5. Some fun things you can do with that. The D5, the D shape on the 7th fret. And that 12, the barring on the 12 there. Right? So really easy things that you can do to to help you with your growing as a guitar player. These were the first things I really saw and learned as I was going through and learning different leads for songs that I saw. Oh, they do that in like a lot of songs. That D5 thing, like that's in a lot of songs during the verses. And there's a common pattern really to most modern praise and worship music. It's you got usually like a strong, for faster songs, usually got like a strong high intro. They break it down for the verse. You're doing like that D5 thing, or it's no electrics, and the electrics coming on the second verse with a D5. Kind of a down to mid chorus. Then your second verse is up a little bit. Then you got a high, strong chorus. Then you bring it down for the bridge, and you build the bridge. And then when you go back to the chorus, it's either a cut chorus, and then you go back in, or it's just a high up chorus again. So there's a lot of just of the same patterns in the way music is made in praise and worship right now, that makes it easier for us as guitar players to incorporate these simple things throughout the different songs, and easier to learn leads for different songs, because a lot of them are right in the same area using the same notes, obviously just in a different pattern, right? So it just makes it easier for us to learn that. And learning, like I said, learning where all the G notes are, those bass notes for G, because if you're playing open in G, you can be up here on the 12th fret and it sounds good. But if somebody's playing, and that's where your lead is, but if somebody's, in C on 5, well, now you're in 12, now you got to go up 5 frets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're way up here on the 17th fret, which you can do, but it's a little, can get a little ear piercy up that high, so that you might have to kind of transpose down to playing your lead down here. And so you're gonna know, well, if I'm starting on a G here, where can I come down here? Oh, I know a G is also a D5. So instead of playing up here on the 17th, you start your lead down here on the D5 if that was your first note for the lead. So being able to move those leads around on the neck to where it's going to sound best if you're capoing. Some songs are playing in D, which is on 7. That doesn't leave you much room on the neck, right? So just different things to think about. Hopefully this helps you, and we'll see you next time.